Raft has finally come out of early access and I've been playing through the final version of the game with friends. Well worth the wait. But what other games are currently in early access and we just can't wait to get our hands on the final build? Starting with Baldur's Gate 3, this turn-based RPG is basically Dungeons & Dragons in video game form. My favourite way to play is co-op with friends. You've got to treat it like you're actually playing tabletop Dungeons & Dragons. Communication and playing as a team is key. You'll even need to vote on dialogue options as a party, and it can be a lot of fun when opinions clash. What makes playing with friends even more special is that everyone has their own character with unique skills and talents. Everyone can contribute in different ways to complete quests. Maybe you're a necromancer that can divulge useful information from the dead to help solve a murder. Or maybe you're a druid that can communicate with wild animals who witnessed the murder. This is your party's adventure, and the game tailors itself around it. That said, the Necromancer School of Magic hasn't been implemented yet, but that's something I'm really excited to play. Even if it does get monotonous for the rest of my party, as they're all waiting for me to take the turns of all my undead minions. Baldur's Gate 3 has already been in early access for 2 years. I'm dying for it. I've got really high expectations. I'm trying really hard to hold off on playing anymore, just because I want that really special experience of playing the full story for the first time with friends. Vampire Survivors. If I had to describe Vampire Survivors, I'd say it's a 2D, roguelike, reverse bullet hell. You are the bullet hell. You'll shoot projectiles in all directions based on your powers and equipment. Basically, you slaughter endless hordes of monsters, level up and choose random upgrades. It might not look that impressive with 2D sprites, but this is seriously addictive. It's so satisfying coming up with your own build of upgrades and mowing your way through thousands of monsters at a time, just like you're mowing the grass on your lawn. Thanks to its 2D sprite design, Vampire Survivors gets lots of regular updates, and hopefully I'll be playing the final build in no time at all. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. The whole potential for the Mount & Blade series is insane. They're getting closer and closer to the realms of my dream game. Bannerlord is set in medieval times, and you start off as a complete nobody who can work their way up to power and take over land through diplomacy, strategy, or combat. After you've amassed enough followers, large-scale battles and castle sieges are jaw-dropping. You can take part in the battles, boots on the ground style, and even lead and command soldiers. It's quite an experience. I can literally lose so many hours to Mount & Blade games. The gameplay loop is addictive, but in the past with previous games, what's really extended my playtime is the mod support. Who can resist the Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones themed campaigns? Valheim is one of the best open world survival games I've ever played, and that's in its unfinished state. As its name suggests, this is Viking themed. It's got this really charming 3D retro graphic style. In a way, it almost feels like I'm playing Minecraft for the very first time again. I just get completely sucked into the building and crafting aspects with friends. Valheim is a creative outlet, and we can connect up all our buildings into towns, and you can even build ships to explore new lands, like a true Viking. What separates Valheim from a lot of the other survival games is its bosses. You'll have to hunt down bosses in the procedurally generated world to progress the game and unlock new upgrades or crafting options. So you've always got a goal to work towards. I'm a little tired of survival games where I need to keep eating food and drink water to survive. In Valheim, I don't need to eat food, but if I do, I'm rewarded with strength and healing buffs. A tiny little change in design philosophy that makes survival games much more enjoyable for me. Overall, it's awesome, and there's just this really relaxing atmosphere to the game. You just want to go in blind and discover what Valheim has to offer for yourself. Satisfactory is all about building factories and automating the production of supplies and materials. The key is making your factory efficient and expanding with webs of conveyor belts and eventually train systems to transport materials around your factory. From the outside, Satisfactory looks very simple in concept, but the game itself is very in-depth and complex. And you can create some pretty fantastic looking factories with friends. Satisfactory is the perfect name for this game, because there's just something really satisfying about expanding your factory and automating the production of something you previously had to manually create yourself. If you're like me and can't wait for Satisfactory, check out Factorio. It's very similar and an addictive 2D alternative, but it's a game that's had its time in early access and now it's fully finished. V-Rising is another really solid and enjoyable survival game, but with a twist. It's got a top-down camera angle, and well, you're a vampire. Not the sparkly kind of vampires, but the awesome ones that build up their own vampire fortresses, raise the dead, drink blood, and albeit they are allergic to sunlight. Combat feels surprisingly awesome, lots of abilities and skill shots to learn and make use of. It might even entice you into the PvP side of V-Rising. But in terms of PvE, you can hunt down special boss targets in epic encounters. The bosses themselves might even be in the middle of highly concentrated camps or villages, and it's really satisfying slaughtering your way through them, or alternatively sneaking through. Once you've tasted the blood of defeated bosses, you can get access to new abilities or crafting recipes, and another pretty awesome progression system similar to Valheim. These are all the developers that make good use of early access to get feedback and properly develop their games. But I've had a taste of these games and I'm dying to play the finished versions of these games. Give me that fully finished Baldur's Gate 3 already. Let me know your favourite early access games in the comments, and peace!